Hello, and welcome to the Dreaming of One Day podcast. A podcast designed to help you relax and gently drift off to sleep while you dream of the Western Cape, South Africa, quite literally. You see, this podcast uses guided imagery to help relax the mind and assist with sleep. With each episode, we'll visit somewhere in the Western Cape, planting a seed for your subconscious mind to process and increasing the likelihood you'll dream about it once you drift off. Think of it like taking the vacation of your dreams in your dreams. Tonight, why not dream of an afternoon horse riding in sunny Stellenbosch? For this episode, we'll be taking a meandering tour of the Cape Winelands by horseback, trotting alongside the fruit orchards and vineyards of local wine farms. Or perhaps listen to one of our other episodes, each exploring a unique part of the Western Cape. When you're ready, find a comfortable position and we'll begin. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Don't be afraid to snuggle in and get cozy. Relax into the spot you're sitting, or perhaps lying down, and find a position where it will be easy to drift into sleep. Start to relax your fingers and toes. Relax your legs and arms. Relax your neck and loosen your jaw. Take one more deep breath and let your eyelids feel heavy. And begin to close them if they aren't already. Listen. Can you hear the wind rustling through the trees, the soft applause of leaves? Can you hear the dirt beneath your feet, the crunch of grit and gravel underfoot? Smell the farms that surround the area, filling the air with the smell of damp soil and earth. Welcome to Stellenbosch. When you're here, it's easy to forget that Cape Town is only a little more than an hour away. Surrounded by the Siemensberg and Paarl Mountains and nestled between fruit orchards and vineyards, rests a small paddock, as if it's pulled right out of a story. Like most farms, it's teeming with life and small movements. Sheep graze peacefully nearby on grass that seems to glow green. It's so full of life. Even the white walls of the stable radiate their own small light. The stables sit at the end of a long dirt road. It's a simple building, uncomplicated, without any of the showy architecture or flourishes that might draw attention away from the natural surroundings. Instead, it seems to know its place in all this beauty and serves its purpose quietly, without any pomp and ceremony. Behind the stables, mountains run like stage curtains, setting the scene for a great drama or opera, trailing their shadows along the slopes far below. Occasionally, you can catch the smell of lavender as it drifts in and out of the breeze. A white heron glides by and lands in a small field close by, without a sound. You take a deep breath, taking in all the small scents of the area. Closer to the stables, 3 horses stand proudly, waiting for their day out. A rather large bougainvillea flows along the stable walls and hangs on a nearby gate, framing the horses in bright pink flowers. When the breeze picks up a little, some of the flowers fall to the ground before the horses, like roses thrown on a stage. time to decide which horse to ride. Each horse has its own personality, its own quirks and strengths. But there's something about one of them that draws you in. You approach a tall white horse and run your hands along his neck. You feel the hairs running under your hand. Overall, it's smooth, but you can feel each hair's strength, coarse and strong, echoing the solid muscles and sinew that sit just below the skin. The horse takes a breath, and you can almost feel it under your hands. The rise and fall as he breathes in and out, occasionally huffing away a fly. His color reminds you of sea foam churned up by the frothing ocean, or the foamy head of a stout beer. While some of the other horses are dappled with patches of mismatched colors, this horse's hide seems more liquid, all hues and shades of the same color, deciding on one white here and changing its mind there. You lean in and feel the horse's neck brush up against your cheek. You breathe in the smell. It reminds you of cold tea or the fragrant fynbos that grows in the area. It brings back a flood of memories. Horses have a knack for that, making you think back to all the other times you've encountered one. Happy memories stringing together like pearls. This horse reminding you of that one. You put a foot in the stirrup and pull yourself over. You settle into the saddle and find your feet in the stirrups, pushing down to lift yourself up. You gently pat the horse's neck as a half-hearted apology for your weight, or for climbing on, but he doesn't seem to mind your presence at all. The other horses in your party start to move and head towards the gate. The horses have been on this trail a few times before, and they know the way. Familiar with the route, your horse relaxes into a walk, allowing you to settle into the rhythm, trying to match your movements to his. The gravel of the driveway beneath you crunches satisfyingly under the hooves, each horse's rhythm striking its own chord with the ground below. Sat in the saddle, you're only a few meters off the ground, but somehow just the small change affords you a slightly different angle on the world. You notice how the sunlight flickers through the branches in the trees that line the driveway. They arch over the road, creating a cathedral of light and leaves that move to accommodate the breeze and show off the sky above. Sitting this high up, you're able to reach out and pull at a leaf that at first fights back and pulls a little before giving in, letting you pluck it from the branch. You watch it float down as you let it go, gliding to and fro, before joining the number of other leaves that speckle the road and lawns like the first stars emerging at dusk. You begin to find it easier and easier to relax. Without realizing it, you've been trying to hold onto the horse with your thighs. Tension melts away as you relax into the saddle and loosen your grip on the reins. More and more, you're calmed by the trust you have in the horse, and you're happy you chose just the right one. The horses seem to enjoy having the company too, showing off and occasionally vying for the front position, each wanting to be the first round the bend or to show off the next view. After a short while, the horses head down a path into the local orchards. The smell of peaches hangs in the air like perfume. It's sweet and mild. You duck your head to avoid stray branches. Hands made of sticks and leaves clutch at your shirt and helmet. The sound of your horse's hooves muffled by those already fallen, covering the floor in a jewel-like carpet. You reach out and pick at the trees as you pass. There's no fruit, of course. The farmers are too vigilant to let wandering guests pick at the fruit. But you find flowers and the odd catkin, and even spot a bright yellow bird dip past before landing on a branch nearby to pick at some small bud. You continue on, getting lost in the rhythm of the walk. It's amazing how hypnotic a horse's ears can be as they bob slowly in front of you, stretching forwards and back rhythmically as your mount strides out. Occasionally, bring your horse to a halt to admire the view. The landscape seems to change with every new path taken. Where the orchards once were, now stand rows and rows of vineyards, marching across the fields and hills. Soon, the horses approach a small dam. Tufts of grass gather on the edge like boats swaying in the wind. The water on the surface is glass, surely, because only a mirror could reflect the landscape so perfectly. The only thing that could make the mountain views more dramatic, it seems, was two of them. The horses begin to trot along the edge of the water, excitedly shattering the surface and making a satisfying sound as the hooves break the water's film. Your horse's white skin shimmers in the light from sweat and a day's ride. Refreshed by the dam, the horses have a renewed vigor, and they excitedly begin to canter. The wide open spaces seem made to run through. Vast and endless. The skies and mountains seem to roll on and on. The horses aren't the only things running, it seems. Clouds gather and gallop above, sending their sweeping shadows racing along the ground below. Heading back, it's a strange feeling, not unlike flying. You imagine riding freely in the same wind that moves through the sky and trees. You slow down to let your horse catch its breath, although it seems he hardly needs it. His breathing is still calm, unbothered by the run or you. You turn and take a slower pace back, drinking in the views, watching the sunlight fall like water poured from a height. Your horse seems to know the way, and unhurried, he makes his slow walk back. Riding here like this, you sure there's a connection with your horse? You and him thinking the same thing. Where should we ride tomorrow? You breathe in deep and take in the view once more. The view hasn't changed, but you might have. And perhaps this is where I leave you, as you meander back to the paddock, among the dappled light, through the trees and in the warm spring breeze. And as you drift off now to sleep and dream of Stellenbosch and the sweeping Paarl Mountains, of orchards and vineyards, and horseback riding in the Western Cape, until you're able to visit again one day.